If you want to learn how to get your wholesaling on fast track and come up with an actionable 30-day plan, this is what we're talking about today. So guys, I'm going to be on as long as you guys have questions, as long as I can provide you value, I can provide you answers. My name is Rick and I've been wholesaling over 20 years plus. I actually love this business. I've never stopped doing it. I did it long before it was ever popular on the internet, and I am still doing it. And I have the pleasure and the honor of doing it with my son, Zach. You guys know him. And I am on here today, number one, is because we want to give you guys more access to us. So our favorite thing is to interact with you guys. So if you guys want to do a one-on-one and you want to do the mastermind call, then I am going to put up the link for you. Let me see if I put it up yet. It's in the comment section on, I believe, the second to the top comment. Actually, the top comment, it's pinned up there. Just click that link and then you can join on a one-on-one. I do it first come, first serve. So the sooner you hop on, the better assurance you're going to get on there. And it's really cool, guys. You don't have to put your mugshot up there. You don't have to do video. You can actually do audio. And remember, the only question that you don't ask is probably the one that you should ask. So I don't care if you've never done a deal before, if you've done thousands, if you want to talk about wholesaling, this is the place to do. So today we are talking about the 30-day action plan to really jumpstart your wholesaling. So guys, use the comments. Use the comments to ask your questions. You can put on there. I try to answer them as we go along. And I take probably the first 20 minutes to go over the topic today, which is the action plan. And then at the top of the comment section, there is a link. You can click that. If you want to do the one-on-one, it's a first come, first serve basis. And the really cool part is we do it all for free. So guys, jump on, take advantage of it. And if you go, hey man, who is this guy? What the heck is he talking about? I think they're a little bit nuts. I want you to go over to freewholesaling.com. And then this is where me and my son have put a course together. Don't freak out when you hear the word course. It's 100% free. We teach you how to get started in wholesaling to get your first deal. Not only your first deal, get you to your first 100K so you don't have to navigate through the landmines of gurus and fake gurus and all these other people. It's so hard to tell who's authentic in this business and who does it. So me and Zach have taken the lead charge and we just give it to you 100% for free. So like a lot of the other guys, they'll give you some free content, just a little bit. They'll do a live, but they can't really say anything because all their paid information is behind their course, which you have to pay for. And heck, it's the American way. I don't fault them for it, but guys, you guys got to get brighter on this. You do not need a complicated guru to explain wholesaling for you. It's actually super simple. It's me and it's you that complicate it. And if you stick through me on this live, I'll show you exactly how to do it. We're going to start today all in how to jumpstart your action plan to get a deal within 30 days. And guys, I'm going to use the exact plan I did. I'm going to use the exact plan I use with my employees. And I'm going to use the exact plan I use with hundreds of thousands of you guys, because I'm telling you, wholesaling is simple. Us humans make it super, super complicated. So also in the comment section, let me know which market you're from. And why not make a new friend today? Find somebody in there. You guys have a lot of the similar questions. You've got the same passions. Just make sure you vet anyone you're going to do business with. So sorry about my scratchy voice. One of those things going around. I actually feel fine. Just a little bit harder to talk. So let's jump into it. So awesome. Okay. So people are coming on here. So we're talking about how to fast track your wholesaling success to get a deal within your 30-day action plan. And I'm here to tell you, as I always tell you guys, wholesaling is it's really simple. We just make it hard because you're trying to filter everything through your lenses. And if your lenses are broke, which a lot of your lenses are broke, you have to start over and you just got to take off the old lenses. Because if you try to interpret wholesaling through your broken lenses, meaning the way your personality does stuff, aka meaning you pick and only choose the things that make you happy and you don't do the things that make you uncomfortable, you will never make it in wholesaling. And honestly, it's probably the number one problem why people fail in wholesaling is they don't want to do the work that's in front of them. And me and Zach have never told anyone it was going to be like super easy. It's simple, but you have to take the steps. If you skip steps, you will have pain and it'll be longer to getting to your first deal. So let's jump into it. The really cool thing about like what we do with doing everything for free is we could just tell you the truth because there's nothing to hide behind. Like, why not just tell you the exact way it is? So I'm going to walk you through this. If you pay attention, I promise you will get something out of this. So we're talking all about fast tracking. So the first thing you've got to understand, the biggest question everyone everyone's going to have is, hey, Rick, how do I create a plan? And recognizing that you need a plan is the first step in becoming successful in this venture. So those who don't have a plan and just go wing it, I can almost guarantee you what the end result's going to be. It's going to be a disaster. You can't just wing it. You are running a business, unless you want to run a hobby, you can do it like a hobby. But if you want to run like a business, you've got to formulate a simple business plan. Don't complicate it, but you got to have a plan going forward. So if you think about all the greats, all the great military leaders, all the greatest athletes in the world, the greatest teams, the greatest leaders, the greatest presidents, the greatest queens, kings, whatever you want to, they all had a plan. They had a plan to get to their victory. And while a lot of them made it, a lot of them didn't make it. But I guarantee you this one thing, every one of them had a plan. And if you don't have a plan, I guarantee you will not make it in wholesaling. So the really cool thing is the plan's easy. The difference is having a plan and sticking to it. Okay. There's no point also in formulating a plan if you're going to do nothing with it. That's what really drives me nuts in this business. And you've got to understand it. So a plan has to be a culmination of basically at least 3, if not 4 things, in my opinion. And I'm going to put them up here on the screen so you don't have to write it down. So number 1, it has to have a timestamp on it. Is it a 30-day plan? Is it a 90-day plan? Is it a 1-year plan? Is it a 5 years? Is it a 10-year plan? Every plan has to have a timeline on it because it's not actionable if you can't take a timeline on it. So for today's reference, we're using basically 30 days. So we call this the 30-day action wholesaling plan. Guys, as simple as that sounds, if you don't put a date on your plan, how are you going to execute it? And how will you know when you actually reach it? The truth is you won't do it. So first thing I'm going to do is set a time. So in this example, we're setting 30 days. The second one, we talk about money. How much money is this going to cost me to put this plan in place? Now, a lot of what we're going to show you today is free. Some of it is paid. It's going to be a combo of both. So recognize which category you fall in. If you don't have any money for wholesaling, you're going to have to stick to all the free techniques I teach you today until you get a deal so you can switch over to the paid ones. So I couldn't do this plan for the hundreds of thousands of people that view this. So I'm going to give you a general plan. I'm going to give you free, and I'm going to give you the paid version. And most people use a combo of both. By the way, I still use the free version because that's where my most highly motivated leads come from. So don't ignore it, even if you have money, because we're looking for good real estate deals. Okay. The next one is a budget. A budget is just a breakdown of, so if you had $10,000 to spend for the year, you would break it down per month on how much you could spend. You could either do it per quarter, per year, biannually, however you want to do it. I like to break it down per month because it keeps me consistent on a plan. So once we have the amount of money, we have the budget. And then the next part, in my opinion, which is part of the budget, is you have to schedule it out. And scheduling is the action part of you actually putting your plan into motion. And that's the real difference over what you want to do. And that's what you got to understand when doing any type of action plan on it. So guys, we have the time, 30-day. We have the amount of money. It could be 0. It could be as much as $10,000 a month. You insert your number you want to do there. Then you come up and you use that as your total budget for the year. And then you're going to allocate your scheduling for it. And it's really that simple as far as getting the plan started. Now, the next part is we have to put lists together. No matter what, I've never done wholesaling without lists. It doesn't matter if you get the most expensive royalty list in the world or you get them free through your government list. The bottom line is you are going to get lists no matter what you do. Hold on one second. I had to get somebody's attention. So the first one is driving for dollars. I love driving for dollars. The really cool thing, it's free. It's easy. Just go out and look for ugly houses. You should always incorporate this strategy because it works really well. The next one is your reverse driving for dollars. These are the lists that you're going to collect that you're going to go out and put sticky notes on the door. The lists that work best for this are off your government list are most likely going to be your pre-foreclosures. You can do probates with them, but you got to use the probate letter when you do it. And you can use any type of like eviction list or anything like that. Also, the tax delinquency is wonderful. So I'll go in a little bit further depth on it because I'm losing my voice. The next one is, you guys know, you already know this one, they're government list. And the really cool thing about government lists is they're free. Like they don't cost any money at all. Okay, we got that fixed. And we got rid of the spam. Thank you. So your government lists are basically derived at your courthouse. They're going to be the pre-foreclosures, the probates, the eviction list, the tax delinquency list, your divorce list. You can go in the utility departments, although it's not derived at the courthouse, and get your water shutoffs. And then you can reach out to your fire department for any fire damaged houses. I love these lists. especially in anything of a short action plan, usually 30 days or less, because they're the highest motivation, they're free, and to me, it's the fastest way to get a wholesale deal. End of story. The next part of your list are the paid lists. And your paid lists are going to be nothing other than more than services that you use. So me and Zach, we mostly use PropStream and Batch, and you use reilist.com or zachdata.com. They're going to cost you a little bit of money, but they're within $100, guys. It's much cheaper an employee, and you get 10,000 leads with that. And if you want to do it that way and you got a little bit of money, it is the most efficient way to get through it. It'll also help you in your skip traces through the zachdata.com. But that's the difference between your paid and your government lists. Now, my recommendation is if you can afford to do it, use a combo of the both. It's not required, but it will definitely push your plan, your action plan faster, because you'll have a lot more leads, because getting those 10,000 per month every month should be factored into your scheduling of your plan. So for that reason, do both. Guys, you just don't have to do one, I promise you. So how are we going to deliver on this? How are we going to deliver our message? So once we have your list, the list is our basically target prospects of people that are going to be in a likely probability of looking to sell us a property. So now you just have to decide how you're going to deliver your marketing message. So I call this your median, your marketing median. I'll put it up on the screen here so you understand. And so your median is basically, the first one we talked about was reverse driving for dollars. This is the art of taking like a pre-foreclosure list or a tax delinquency list and taking one of those, I don't have one here? No. Taking one of those little sticky notes and putting it on the door and say, hey, this is Rick. Got a quick question about your house. And I'm going to put my virtual phone number, and that's it. If I go out and stick 50 notes on a door, I can usually get 3 to 7 people calling me back. And from those people, I'll try to strike up a conversation to set an additional appointment and go out and write them a contract on the property. Why do we do this technique? Because it's highly efficient. I only talk to the people that want to talk to me. And with the advent of Ring doorbell cameras, aggressive dogs, and a lot of laws outlawing you knocking on the door, reverse driving for dollars fits perfectly. It has a high success rate because it's very personalized. Now, it's going to take some energy, but I'm telling you, it works really, really well. The next one is cold calling, which is going to be what most of you fall into. And cold calling is just the art of reaching out to the homeowner. So a prerequisite for all cold calling is you have to skip trace. If you want to learn how to skip trace, go over to zachdata.com. That is a paid service we use for it, or you can do it manually. It's going to take you a little bit more time. You can use truepeoplesearch.com. Remember, we're talking about paid services and free services to be inclusive of everybody on this list, because this is not about if you have money to get on a fast track deal in 30 days. The question is, are you going to take the energy, the action to get this stuff done? So cold calling, and guys, cold calling is just mechanical. If you say I'm scared of cold calling, you need to look deeper and see what you're really scared of. If you're scared of making money, of bettering your life, and writing the rules the way you want to, then I don't know why you'd be scared of cold calling. So I had the fear of cold calling initially when I did it too. And once you sit down and realize it's the anxiety of the call that is worse than the actual call, it will change your mindset and how it works. The reason I like it, it's very fast and efficient. You don't have to get in your car. You connect directly with the seller. There's no middleman. There's no real estate agent. And if they want to do a deal with you, you can usually strike a decent deal. Now, you're going to get rejected more than accepted on a cold call. You just have to accept that. If you can't handle that fact, you're probably not going to be good at wholesaling. And I'm just telling you the truth. So if you don't like cold calling, try to find a partner that's really strong that likes cold calling. That's how me and my son paired up in our businesses, because I never touched it before that. So I'm just not the cold calling type. The other one is SMS. Now, this one is dynamite for you people operators. I was a single operator for my first 7 years, and understanding this is just a text application. Once you have their phone number, you can send them a cute message. You got to mix it up a lot because the carriers are starting to block more of these texts and tagging them as spam. So it's getting harder, for full disclosure, but you can still do it. It still works for one person. It's a highly efficient, because your goal is to convert them from a text to a phone call. Don't ever try to take a deal down via text and like never communicating. To me, it's just a waste of time. Every now and then it'll happen that way, but eventually you do have to talk to someone to make sure everything is for real on it. So, and then the last one is direct mail. Guys, I love direct mail. Direct mail is is extremely profitable. Anybody who tells you direct mail is dead or it doesn't work, it means they're probably not a very good wholesaler. Most of the highly efficient wholesalers across the country, they use direct mail. Why? Because it has a very dependable ROI on it. I know exactly how much I spend on my direct mail. I know very close on what my rate of return is going to be on it. End of story. You know why? Because I've been doing it 20 years. Actually, my fear is not investing in direct mail because then I know I won't make a return. It'll be zero. But here's the good news. You don't have to start out with direct mail, but if you guys want to play around with it, you can check it out. Go over to mailingmastery.com. We teach you how to do it head to toe, 100% for free, no strings attached to it. And I'll show you how to use the techniques I use in direct mail. I absolutely love it. So the cold calling direct mail, and remember, direct mail is only for those of you that have completed a few deals and then you want to start scaling up your business. But some of you start out with direct mail. It's okay. It's actually extremely efficient, but it is definitely a learning curve and you got to understand it. So the next question, whenever we put a plan together, is you have to ask yourself, how am I going to get the results? Because really, you write a plan, you formulate the whole thing, you put in the amount of money you're going to spend, the time, you're going to measure the actionable results. And so now, how do we get results? This is where most people just don't understand plans, okay? You see, the plan itself is not enough to get a result. It's only a guide, just call it a template for you to get somewhere. So now if you got a template, say you got a Word document template, and it was to do like a table of contents and it had nice, pretty chapter numbers on it and everything, it's not going to do it by itself. And this is what you guys got to understand. You can write all the plans you want. I'd rather you have a plan than no plan at all, because no plan at all, I know exactly where you're going. Here's the big secret. There's the number one thing people struggle with plans. To make a plan work, to get results, you have to take action. I would put a massive amount of action, but all results are based on action. You don't believe me? Let's take a sport. Say a basketball player, say he dribbles all day long and the shot clock expires, he doesn't shoot. Does he or she have the ability to score a basket? No, there's no points accrued. I can take the other team that they're terrible at basketball. I mean, terrible, but man, they just keep lobbing that ball up in there. And guess what? After a while, some of their shots are going to hit. The team that's trying to pass it perfect and make sure they have 100% baskets, they might make 2 or 3 shots and maybe 1 out of the 3 goes in or 2 out of the 3 goes in it. But the other team takes 50 or 60 shots and 10 of them go in. The team that took the most shots on average is going to win in that case scenario. And here's what I'm telling you. You have to kind of take the same analogy when you write a plan. If you are not going to take the action, or worse yet, you're going to lie about the actions you take and then complain to people why you're not getting there, then you have to learn what we call accountability. And if you can't be honest with yourself, wholesaling will be extremely painful. I've watched a lot of friends. I've watched a lot of people I teach in this, and the ones that cannot be honest with their actions are the ones that usually do the worst. Oh, Rick, I called 100 people. Isn't that crazy? I didn't get a deal on 100 people. And I'm just like, 100? Wait, was that the first hour or the second hour? Like 100 is nothing, guys. 1,000's nothing. Honestly, 10,000's nothing. Until you get to like that 100 to 150, 200,000 calls, you don't know anything. You're just a rookie. You're kind of like you're doing a hobby and you're trying to make it professional. And you've got to be like the Kobe Bryants. The man probably took 500,000-600,000 free throws in practice alone. And I know I'm way under that number. And I'm telling you, you have to take the same mindset. You are no different. I'm telling you, the reasons I'm sitting here, I never stop. Guys, and I failed a bunch. I failed more than I care to admit. But the reality is I always kept going forward. How do you keep going forward? You just take constant action. You take enough action, it will yield a result. And if you have a good enough plan, it will yield the money you need. So many people think wholesaling is like this perfect. I write 50 contracts in the year, 45 of them get accepted, I'll make a ton of money. No, absolutely not. You might write 1,000 contracts, 50 get negotiated, 25 get signed, and 15 of them close. I don't know, but I'm just telling you, it's not like I write 50 contracts, I get 50 accepted. That's even realtors don't do that. And you've got to understand that going into this business. So you have to understand, to earn 100K in wholesaling, which is not hard. I know a lot of you thinking like, dude, that's crazy. I'd do anything to 100K. It's so much easier than you think it is. It's just your mind block. Someone's taught you that in corporate America, you can only, if you make 100K, you're doing well. You're not. I'm sorry. The truth is you're not. You're just an average Joe. You guys are much better than that. I used to make 80 to 120K a year every year. I thought I was like the Mac Daddy. But I got a W-2. By the time the government took their cuts, I took everything out, and then I had my fake 401k. I didn't have a lot to take care of my family. It's just the truth. And those of you that have kids, especially in today's age, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is why wholesaling resonates so well with most of the people I connect with on here, because you want to make a change. So let's talk about that first 100K. You're going to have to do 100K worth of action. You can't just, well, I'm going to make 100 phone calls. I'm going to do this. Go out and get 500 driving for dollars leads every week. I don't care. I know it's a big number, but big numbers means big actions, which means big results. 100's not going to cut it. When we talk about cold calling, 1,000 cold calls don't cut it. Double it. Do 2,000. Do 5,000. That's the kind of effort if you have no experience, you're going to have to 10x your effort. Sorry for the analogy, but it's the truth. And 10x has been around forever, even before Mr. Cardone. But you have to think bigger. You can't just go, oh, I'm going to make 200 cold calls. And do you really expect to get a result from that? And that's not going to do it. So whatever you're thinking much bigger now. So if you're thinking 200, think 2,000 in cold calls, 10,000 text. If you want to do direct mail and you really want to go all in, you got to look at 5, 7, 10,000 pieces. Guys, you got to do numbers to make stuff work. Nobody plays small in this business and make it work. In the beginning, we do what we have to because that's all we know. But once you understand how the business works, if you'll invest in yourself by using some of the paid techniques, using some of the free techniques, and maybe use the free techniques so you can get to the paid techniques, I don't care what it is. And if you're using the free techniques, you're really going to have to 10x your numbers. That's the bottom line. But here's the good news. Within 2 years, you can 100% change the trajectory of your life, your family, everyone around you, and you can have the absolute most freedom, enjoy life on your terms instead of working for the man or the woman and building someone else's dreams. You guys deserve to build your dreams, and I want to help you here through wholesaling. So I'm going to teach you a little bit of rule to sum this up, because I tell you right now, I think we all complicate this business way too much. So I'm going to teach you a rule. If you use it, it's going to help you out a lot. It's called the 3-1-1 wholesaling split rule. Okay. It's not complicated. Trust me, it ain't a math problem. So 3-1-1 adds up to be 5, right? So if you had 5 hours in a day for wholesaling, then this is 100% geared towards wholesaling, I'd spend the first 3 hours on marketing. Because guys, without marketing, it's like not having fuel for your car. You're not going to get anywhere. Yeah. Don't worry about dispositions and acquisitions. It ain't going to work. So if we understand wholesaling is nothing more than marketing, acquisitions, and dispositions, we're going to start with marketing. In the beginning, you need marketing. You need to become a marketing master ninja. So to do that, you're going to have to spend the most time there. So if you want to learn more how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach show you step by step how to get there. So the first 3 hours you are going to spend on marketing. The next hour you are going to spend on acquisitions. That's writing offers. That's following up in your CRM with offers that didn't stick. And you just keep doing this. And the acquisitions is important. And then the other one is going to be on dispositions. Don't worry if you don't have a deal. This is the hour you're going to spend working with your cash buyers to vet them, get proof of funds, make sure they're legit buyers, they're buying in the right price points for the right type of deals. So when you do have your deal through your 3 hours of marketing per day and your 1 hours of acquisitions, you have somebody ready to go. So many people will spend 10 hours on marketing, an hour on acquisitions, and then nothing on dispositions, on getting your cash buyers. And eventually, if you start to break this rule, stuff will break down in your business. So you're better to start this 3-1-1 wholesaling split plan rule up front. So whenever you're looking at it, you got to look at your time and manage it proportionally. You can't just wing it. You have to. And I would probably push the marketing even higher, maybe a 4-1-1, especially when you're starting out, maybe even a 5-1-1, because marketing is where all your deals are going to come from. And then you're going to spend a little bit more time on dispositions and what's going on in the market currently, because cash buyers are all over the board and you got to get as much intel as you can from them. So guys, this is it. This is what you need to fast track your wholesaling success, especially for a 30-day plan.